Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Okay. I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm still thinking about the blueberries.
Welcome back to Burning Questions, brought to you by Zone Smelling Salts. I know that it's been a little while since we did an episode. We had some other projects and things come up that were priority. One of those things being the Rainier Classic. So I'm super excited that our first guest back is our women's Pro-Am winner. Also really cool because I feel like we've had so many men on the channel recently, and we need to get some more ladies in here. Yeah. So Jammie here was the winner of our Open Women's Pro-Am Rainier Classic.
I'm a pro now.
She is a pro. She's a pro.
I got an email about it.
2 shows, right?
Yeah,
which is wild. And now headed to North Americas in a few weeks. So, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Good. Like all the podcast things you're supposed to say.
Yeah, happy to be here. Before we get into the questions, I just want to give you a quick, 30 seconds. Tell everyone who you are, where you're from, what you're doing here in Washington, and then we'll get into some questions.
Gotcha. My name is Jammie Booker. I am originally from Jersey, South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. Made the move over into Philly 3 years ago, and I've been a strength and conditioning coach, personal trainer, whatever you want to call it. Not for athletes, but just general health and fitness. I've trained one amateur bodybuilder, and that's about as high level as I've gotten. I'm out here in Washington right now to win the Rainier, and also just take care of my girlfriend who's just recovering from surgery right now. It was one of the main reasons I wanted to do this competition. It was I can go and low-key write all things off as a business expense while I'm out here. And also Dungeon is a really, really cool gym. I've really admired them for a while now. And now I get to be here and use all their fancy-ass equipment for North America's Strongest.
Yeah, for a month, right?
For a month, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, first question, first salt. Jammie is new to smelling salts. Yep. She's done the old school crack ones. But so she has picked her lineup. She went with a smart conservative lineup, not like a lot of the men on this show that just want all the strongest ones.
I don't need to prove anything. I'm just here for a good time.
So we're starting small with the small bud. So, all right. So obviously you just had a hell of a showing at the Rainier Classic. And I've seen some of your training. You're hitting some pretty incredible numbers.
Thank you.
Can you talk to us a bit about your athletic background and what it is that you think contributed most to how quickly you picked up the sport?
Sure. So pull down here.
We got to open it a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the rules. Wow. Okay, cool.
Take a breath.
Yep. So, I did a lot of farm work growing up. I'm crying already. I did farm work. My mom's side of the family owns a farm out in Iowa. So I would do farm work over there. And then I had friends in Arizona who had a farm, did farm work there. And then in college, I did a work study because I was doing pre-vet. And so it would be wake up at the crack of dawn, go hoist some hay bales around to go feed some animals, carry animals around, things like that. So I think a lot of my base level of strength came from that. Both my parents were high school and college basketball athletes, so they desperately wanted me to do basketball. I do not have hand-eye coordination. So I was kind of flailing around, but they put me in athletics, moving from one sport to another for my entire life. Did wrestling in middle and high school. But I liked a task, and after COVID, when the gyms first opened up, it was just something to do. And so it was I can get out of the house for 2 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. Great, I'm gonna do that. And so I just got really, really obsessive with it and got pretty strong. Eventually figured out that strongman was a thing, and it was much cooler than powerlifting. No offense to the powerlifters. And so, just started picking up sandbags. Went to my first competition with no training at all from a coach. Just kind of wung it. First place in every category. I found a coach about 6 months ago. Shout out to Zach, you're great. And now I'm doing pretty okay at this thing.
Yeah, so what is it that you think helped you the most in strongman? I was assuming the farm stuff.
The farm stuff certainly helped. Honestly, I think it's I'm really bad at being bad at things. And so there is like no real ceiling to strongman. And since I'm comparing myself to people like you, when I first like got into it, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be bad at this, so I have to get really, really good at it. So I was like, dove into literature and like a lot of like following other people's podcasts or like YouTube videos, things like that. And I think the thing that's like set me apart is I just really, really it's not so much I want to be good as that I don't want to be bad at it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can relate, yes. Yeah, I'm the same way. I've always asked people, like, because I feel like everyone's in one of two camps. Like, do you like winning or do you hate losing?
I hate losing
and then, like,
so much.
Everyone's a little bit of both, but everyone's mostly one or the other.
Winning's cool. I don't care. I need to win.
I don't like when people are better than me at something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you touched on this a little bit, but moving on. Next question. Irish cream. Okay.
It's so much worse watching you do it first. I'm like, God, I gotta do that in a second.
This one's calmed down a little bit. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so some farm work in college. You're 29 now, so there's some time in between there. Can you tell us like what your like lifting athletic journey has looked like in that time frame, and then when did you specifically start or decide to start pursuing being a competitive strength athlete?
Sure. Okay, so shake this. Cool. Open on here. Okay, that was not bad.
Sounds bad.
That smells nice, actually. Neat. So could you read the question?
Between college and now, what have you been doing? And then when did you like decide to start pursuing competitive strength sports?
Gotcha. So I've been like an off and on gym goer kind of forever, as many people do. Like I'll pick it up for like a month or two and like drop it. Like I said, around 5 years ago now was COVID. Jesus. I've been lifting heavy for 5 years. Shit. No wonder I'm strong. It's been like consistent for 5 years. It was, like I said, it's like a big thing to get out of the house. What got me into strongman specifically, because originally I knew about powerlifting and I was like, cool, I'll do that. I was kind of turned off from strongman because it has man in the name. And so I kind of assumed it was just men. But this would have been 3.5, 4 years ago now. Like a video of Gabby Dixon just like showed up on Instagram. I think it was her Farmer's Hold, where she just like her grips.
I remember that.
Insane.
No, it's not fair. It's so good.
It's so good. But I remember seeing that and being like, oh, that's just like powerlifting but more fun. I want to do that. That looks way better. And so from then it was just, I'm like, I want to do that with my life. That looks like way more fun than every other athletic thing I've ever seen. And like I think after like a lifetime of my parents being like, you should be an athlete, I finally found a thing. I'm like, oh cool, I can be an athlete.
One, yeah. So when you started strongman, how long between when you started and when you competed?
So as in like in a strongman gym, because I was like working out at like LA Fitnesses, or like there's a regional variant called City Fitness, which is just LA Fitness but in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And I would do like a lot of like sled work there. We had a lot of like heavy kettlebells and sandbags, things like that. But as far as like doing strongman specific stuff, it was 2 months.
Cool.
It was 2 months from when I first came in, touched the circus dumbbell, and I was like, oh, this is like kind of fun. And then they're like, we're having this was like a not strongman corporation thing. It was like one of those like doubles competitions. Like
like an unsanctioned thing.
Yeah, so it was like a nice little charity event. I don't count that as my first competition. I carried that boy across the finish line. He was pretty good, but it was my first taste of like being good at a sport, which is really cool.
Cool, that's exciting. Okay, I like this one. Blueberry pie.
Okay.
Okay, so clearly you are a very large-framed individual, which is like genuinely the ideal frame for a sport like strongman, and you seem to really like embrace that about yourself, which I love. I think that's so cool. Is that something that you were always comfortable with, or did you have to like mentally grow into appreciating that?
Gotcha. How deep am I supposed to get on this podcast?
As much as you want.
All right.
This is your show.
Not bad. It actually does like smell really pleasant. I was like, oh, it's really blueberry. Oh, there's the smelling salt.
It masks the pain a little bit when it smells nice.
I'm not going to throw my parents under the bus or anything, but I will say my mom is like very she's a very thin-framed woman and trying to get thinner. She's like very much like new like diet every single week kind of thing. And that definitely rubbed off on me as a kid. So I spent a lot of my life trying to get really, really small, poorly. Because, as I'm sure you know, if you're like, some people are just kind of meant to be big, you know? My body really likes being a larger frame. And I've really, really, really grown to embrace that. And I try to encourage other people to accept their body shapes as well. But growing up, no, I desperately wanted to be like, I didn't have the word for it yet, but like a Pilates girl.
Yeah.
Like I really wanted to be like, as much as like a rib, if I could get my ribs to show, like my cheekbones to pop, collarbones to pop. It didn't work for me. And I would say it's only been because of this sport that I've like really grown to accept it. Once I started seeing my body as like a tool that picks up rocks and also is really, really hot, that was like a big turning point for me. So I really thank this sport and athletes like yourself for helping me have like a body positivity journey.
So what came first? Did you start to feel better about yourself and that like gave you permission to pursue something like this, or did pursuing something like this start the shift?
It was pursuing something like this, which is one of the reasons I really encourage people who feel somewhat negatively about like how big their body is to try strength sports, because I feel like we are so often shown one type of athletic body. Even now, like in like my fucking TikTok comments, people are like, "But I can't see your abs, so you're not strong." You know,
People have this image of what they think an athlete looks like.
Exactly, and like we can blame bodybuilding for that. Bodybuilding is an incredible sport,
but it's a different sport.
It's a different sport, and so I think I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm still thinking about the blueberries, but yeah, people should be able to be whatever size they want. And if that size also comes with being really good at like a particular sport, then they should pursue that. You know?
I think that strength sports and like strongman powerlifting has done that for a lot of people. It's like the same, like grew up, like I got into this because of an eating disorder. And it's
okay,
like,
I didn't want to like say eating disorder in case it was going to like trigger something for someone else, but I was bulimic. I would like make myself throw up and stuff over it. And now I don't do that. Now I'm like, that's wasted calories. You got to get those in.
And I think it's about like switching your frame of reference to like appreciating your body for what it can do instead of what it looks like. Because like we do some cool shit. And like that's way cooler than having abs.
And also I have 3 partners. Like clearly I'm doing fine in the looks department.
Yeah. All right. Cotton candy.
Oh.
It's a pretty bottle.
It is pretty. That's really pretty.
Okay, so I know you're fairly new on the scene, but I can tell in the interactions that we've had that you have some big goals for yourself in the sport, which you're absolutely physically capable of achieving.
Thank you.
So what does this mean to you, though, and what's giving you the mental drive to get there?
So many reasons. Okay.
Got in there. Got in there.
Yeah, it wasn't hitting at first. I think I'm burning a tolerance to it. So as far as like what's like driving me to do this?
Yeah. There's some people that have like the physical ability to do something, but they don't have like the mental fortitude to put in the work to do it. I see that in you, that you work hard. And what is it that you think it's going to continue to give you that mental edge? Like, why is it so important to you?
Speaking plainly again, like there's the fact that like I cannot mentally lose, and that's not like I can't be beaten. It's like, no, if I lose, it's gonna be real bad time. So if I drop out of this before I like reach whatever my peak might be, I'm never gonna forgive myself for that. And also on like a more personal note, I like the idea of like having a job that I don't hate. I've worked exclusively retail and personal training, like corporate personal training, like Planet Fitness, personal training jobs. And they are miserable. And so the reason I have to win is capitalism.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But to expand on that a little bit, my girlfriend is moving over to the Netherlands next month. And if I don't have a job that like allows me freedom of travel and also has an international audience, I'm probably going to lose a lot of like my contact with her. And so the ability to do something like the Arnold UK or, you know, knock on something, the Rogue one day, or something to that extent or Giants Live would be like huge. It'd be like an opportunity to go over and travel. And also I just have to prove it to myself that I can. I spent so much of my life, like the first 25 years of my life, hating my body. And so I'm kind of like making up for all that hatred with a lot of like pride and dedication. Like I owe this to my past self to like do the best I can, you know?
Cool. How long do you see yourself doing this?
Probably, is that one of the questions? Or
No,
okay.
That's just a thought.
I've joked that I will become like a yoga mom by 40. Like whenever like I hit like the master's class level, it's like I'll just like, you know, like properly learn how to do a weight cut. And it's like, because I don't want
You
all
got
that.
another decade left.
Yeah, I don't want all that weight on my knees after that.
Dude, it adds up.
Yeah. I may not look it, but I'm 400 pounds, and like sometimes the knees feel the 400 pounds.
You're still young too.
Yeah.
I'm still young.
I was like, you're like 3 years
still young.
young. 3 years older.
My knees don't be feeling young anymore.
Shit, maybe I might retire next year. We'll see how things feel.
All right, grape bubble gum.
Great.
Okay. All right. So working toward being the best in the world at anything obviously takes a great deal of time and dedication.
Sure.
And I think everyone in the pursuit of that has different ways of balancing their lives and their priorities. So I've talked to a lot of people about how it affects their personal lives, especially like when their partners aren't involved in the sport. So I'm super curious, as someone with multiple partners, how do you how do you balance all that?
Oh God, I knew this was coming. So down here. That didn't smell like grape at all. That was just ammonia.
I get a lot of grape out of that
My
one.
sinuses are open. I'm allergic to dogs, and my girlfriend has a dog at home, so this is like great. But I think it's kind of saving me a little bit. It's like this nostril's like a little clogged.
It opened up, but it'll just like burn everything a little bit. So maybe
it is nice. I can breathe for the first time since moving to Seattle. As far as like how do I balance partners, a full-time job, and training? Google Calendars.
All right.
No, for real. I think even monogamous couples could really benefit. Monogamous couples could really benefit from scheduling their time out with people. Because when I first like introduced this concept to people, they're like, "Oh, that seems like so formal." But if you don't schedule things, then you could easily go like a couple weeks without like a proper date with like one of your partners. I hear people talk about like their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their significant other, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we haven't been on a date in a month." I was like, "It's
sad.
That's wild."
Yeah.
I take each one of my partners on a date once a week. And like at first it's like feels like a little forced and formal, but like once you realize like, oh, Sunday I'm going to hang out with Amber. Oh, Wednesday I'm going to hang out with Danny. Oh, Friday I'm going to hang out with Faye. That makes it like a lot easier, and that frees up a lot of time for me to be just as rigid with my training. Every morning, wake up, 6 a.m., go to the gym, come home, take a shower, eat some food, go to work. And then by being like rigid in all parts of my life, both like personal and professional, it has like really helped me keep on task. Like, I've missed, outside of like illness, I've missed maybe 4 or 5 workouts this year.
Yeah.
You know? And even those are kind of like scheduling concerns, like, oh, I have like a doctor's appointment or something like that. It really helps. So I think I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm kind of just rambling. Calendars are great. Calendars are really
helpful. How much
helpful.
of your life is scheduled?
Only the big parts.
Okay.
You know?
Important things.
Yeah, so it's like workouts come first thing in the morning, so it gets those out of the way. Like, I'm done working out and on my way home by the time everyone else is waking up. They're like, good morning. I was like, I've been up for 3 hours and my body hurts. And outside of that and the, you know, obviously work, and the like 3 nights a week where it's like, that's like their time.
Yeah.
The rest of it's pretty open. And so that doesn't leave like a lot of free time, but it leaves enough. Outside of like the 2 or 3 weeks before a competition, I never feel like I don't have enough time for everything. Yeah.
I think scheduling people, like you said, you know, some people might think that sounds formal. You can also reframe that to be like, I feel like maybe I would also feel like a priority. Like if someone
Yeah.
prioritized me enough to put me on their schedule and make it non-negotiable.
Yeah,
like,
it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like I will cancel other things. It's like, oh, I can't. That's Amber's night. You know, it's like I just can't do that.
Yeah.
She's going to
That's
take priority. I made that like promise to her.
Yeah. Is it hard or nice for you to have partners that don't also do this? Like, is it a nice break from strongman?
So
or...
one of them kinda does.
Yeah?
Faye is actually heading to Strongman Saturdays twice a month, which is
That's
very, very
exciting.
cool. It's really cool. Danny has a shoulder disability, so she can't do it. And Amber, I've told her a couple times, she's like, absolutely not. I won't even walk in the treadmill. So
what?
it's kind of nice to be able to disconnect, and they're all fans of the sport. Like they all know who you are. They all know who like Andrea is, Lucy is, all that, and that's really cool to be able to like go and like talk to them about it. But also they're like far enough out of it that I'm not going to show them like a video of like a failed stone lift, and they'd be like, "Well, your hips weren't in alignment." You know, so it is very nice to like have them be like big fans and supporters of me without them being like overly critical.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it kind of like, it makes it so that your entire life isn't
Yes.
Strongman.
It's very nice to just like go home and be like, we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons instead of anything else.
Cool. All right, moving on. Mint, got some fun questions.
Oh.
So. Oh.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Okay.
Okay. If you won if you won $50 million tomorrow and money was no longer something you had to worry about, how would your life change?
Do I get to think about it first or sniff
Nope.
first? Okay. Fuck. Oh my god. Wow. Okay. $50 million, how would my life change? I would probably move to Ireland
Okay.
and I'd probably like buy like a whole bunch of land out there, somewhere like outside of a city. I'm like a huge city girl. I love cities. But I think if you gave me like enough money, I would just like build a compound for like friends, family, and partners.
Cool.
And just like raise like a bunch of sheep and cattle and like unplug from things, but be close enough to a city that's like once or twice a week we can like very easily drive in. I would donate like a shit ton of money to like things like the Trevor Project or like the Red Cross, things like that. Because I can't spend $50 million.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. I'm like looking at like Rainier like, ooh, I might win $3,000 from this. That's a life-changing amount of money. So if you gave me 50, I'd probably give like 25 million of it away like immediately. And then 10 million to build a compound and then like live off the rest, I guess.
Yeah. Why
You know?
Ireland?
It's so pretty. It's so beautiful. I've never left the country. Canada will be my first time leaving the country. But every time I look at pictures, it just looks amazing. And I've met people who have lived there or like have like moved from Ireland to here, and everyone who's ever visited is like everyone's like friendly in like an aggressive way, which is like I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm very like, hi, nice to meet you. We're best friends now. Let's like talk and hang out. And like
Yeah.
I really appreciate that about a group of people. So I feel like I would fit in well. They fucking love stone lifting out there, so I feel like I could like walk and be like, I picked up this rock today. They'd be like, fuck yeah.
My people.
Exactly, right?
Go pick up some rocks.
It sounds like a bunch of just like autistic stone lifters, and that
Cool.
seems like my group of people.
Yeah. Would you be pursuing strongman like
Oh, absolutely.
more or less or the same?
I feel like I'm pursuing it as hard as I can right now.
Yeah.
So like I feel like about the same.
Yeah.
You know? I love the sport so much. I can't like imagine myself like you asked me about like when I would retire, I was like, oh god, I have to do that eventually, huh?
Eventually. Some people don't. I got master's classes for that.
Yeah. I see you, Mark Felix.
Dude, could all be built like that. All right. Moving up. You ready? Mm-hmm. Feeling
We only
okay?
have 2 of these left?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're almost at the end.
This is easy.
Yeah. How you feel?
I feel great.
All right. Cinnamon bun.
Okay, cute.
All right. All right.
Every time we do
So-
that.
Outside of just contest wins and titles and numbers, what impact do you hope to have both in the sport and then in the world as a whole as a strong woman?
Oh, wait, no thinking. Fuck. Yeah. I need to clear up the left sinus a bit more. Okay, great.
Even it out.
It was like it's all been the right, and so this is like on fire. I'm like, let me just turn into it. As far as like, oh god, one more time, please.
What impact do you want to have, like in the sport and then in the world, just like as representative for strong women?
I essentially would like to do. I'm sure you know who Ilona Maher is. Mm-hmm. You know, I would essentially like to do what she's doing for like bigger muscular bodies, for just like bigger bodies overall. Mm-hmm. As just like these bodies can be beautiful. The women attached to these bodies are like intelligent, funny, like masters of their craft. I think. I mean, it's only been, what, like 8 months since the Olympics, and she's everywhere.
Yeah.
I would love to have that level of, like, influence over, like, people's perception of, like, femininity. Mm-hmm. In a, like, I think I'm doing that in, like, a small way. I got my, like, 40K followers on TikTok, but also, like, in a very local way. Like, I'm a known entity to the queer community in Philadelphia because I do security at, like, the queer raves there. They, like, seek me out because they're like, you look friendly enough, but also strong enough to toss someone out of here.
Cool.
And so it's like me with like 5 like burly guys. I really just want to be able to show people that like this is what a woman can look like and act like and perform like. Yeah. You know?
Yep. Dude, the I love it. Like the impact that she's had on.
She's
like,
incredible.
Like,
can you believe she's
beyond,
straight?
like beyond rugby. Just like she's doing some.
She's walking
things.
Runways. She's walking the Met Gala. She's walking like red carpets. It's insane.
Yep.
I've been following her on TikTok back since 2021. I think like the last Olympics. She's funny as hell.
Yeah, she's awesome. Mm-hmm. I think like a lot of us just want to have that sort of impact. Like we love the sport, but also just. Like, it's just cool to show that people are different.
Yeah,
and,
like I could have used that growing up.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, she and us and everyone that we compete with are the people that I needed growing up, too.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to think that, like, child me would be very proud of me.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so. All right, last question.
Or she'd be like, why are you so big? Like, fuck.
You know what? Healthier space now.
Healthier space.
All right, the one steel bottle.
Yeah.
All right, last one. You've got North America's coming up in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. So what do you think are going to be your top 2 events? What do you think are going to be your bottom 2 events? And then what event are you just the most excited to do?
I feel like I gotta like properly do this one so you can have like a clip to put in the beginning. I see how your editing works.
Yeah.
All right. Ah! I tried to go back for a second sniff, and then, like, it already had hit. Okay.
You don't need a double.
No, I was, like, I'm going to be really brave and do a double. It's like, no, just, like, turning my head towards it was enough. My circus dumbbell's a bitch. Fucking...
Dude, same. Agreed.
I hate circus dumbbell. I got up to 130 with, like, your instruction yesterday. And, like, Alec has been here helping me as well. If I place like 3 from the bottom in that event, I will be happy.
You're not going to zero.
I'm not going to zero. I think the medley at the end is like super achievable.
What is the medley for people that don't know?
Oh fuck! This one sounds so fucked up. I know it's like the sandbag and the yoke. I like barely looked at it because I was like,
and
this is all
drag, right?
Yeah,
sled drag.
Sled drag, yeah, which is like almost like exactly what we did just at Rainier, and I was really, really, really good at Rainier. Moving events I feel very fine with. I'm very big. I have very long legs, so it takes a lot of weight to weigh me down, and if it can't, I can kind of just like I can run with that yoke, which is like what I did. It's the same yoke weight as like Rainier.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's like that I feel very, very confident with. Conan's wheel I think will also be. I think that and Conan's wheel will probably be like my best, just for the same reason of like I'm big. I can walk pretty. My steps.
Can walk good.
I walk good actually. See, I can go to Ireland. I take very long steps, which you pointed out yesterday. I was like, oh, like 200 feet. That's like what, like 8 steps. I think the one I'm most excited for is the truck pull. Okay. Just because I feel like it's so iconic.
It just looks cool.
It looks really fucking cool. And I feel like that's like a picture I get to like pull out at like every family reunion from now on. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got into med school? Here's me pulling a truck, you know? Like, it's, objectively, I've heard it's, like, not as impressive as, like, people think it is, but
it looks impressive.
It looks impressive. Even now, I'm like, I've been told the mechanic stuff, I'm like, but you get to pull a truck, though.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, some of the strongman events are just about looking cool.
Yeah, that's why stones are the best.
Yeah.
Which there's no stones in this event. I'm very sad about that.
That's a bummer.
What are you going to do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else besides circus dumbbell that you think might be a little struggle?
Maybe log for reps, just because I think the weight is low enough that everyone's going to get, like, a decent amount of reps on it.
Be a conditioning event.
Yeah, and I'm pretty well conditioned, but not as conditioned as I could be. I like 200 pounds is like light enough that I can like borderline viper it. Not quite, but like I did it here, and I was like, I can get about 10 reps in a minute, and that's cool.
That's pretty solid.
But if I can do that, that means that someone of like relatively equal strength can also like do that. So I think it's probably going to come down to like, I would say maybe like 3 reps between like the top like 5 people.
So at some point you just kind of start to max out the time.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is like what happened with the deadlift at Rainier too.
Yeah.
Of like, you called me on my fucking down command, which you should have. I fucked up. We didn't practice commands at all during training, and so I was already like the crowd's like screaming. I'm like out of it, and I looked down, and you're gonna be like, no. And I was like,
wah, wah.
all right. No, I feel really, really confident about everything. If I don't podium, I will be very impressed by the other women.
What do you think your chances are to win?
Better not that AJ dropped out.
I was so excited to see you guys go.
I was
against
really
each other.
excited. Like, she took me out to Korean barbecue, which like very, very kind. And like she like leaned and she's like, just so you know, I'm probably gonna drop out in North America.
It's like the breakup. It's like the breakup time.
It was like felt like a breakup. Like you're doing this in public. That's crazy. I really, 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 really wanted to compete against her, and I'm sure I will in the future. I think maybe I could have beaten her, and that would have been like really cool. Just like beat like another like really big, really powerful woman. Not to say the other like monster in the competition, Sam Bellevue, isn't like really big and powerful, but you know, like bodily big. I think it would have been really cool to have like 2 giant women on the podium.
Yeah.
I was looking at the shirt sizes in the group chat for North America's. Everyone was like medium, large. I was like, I haven't been a medium since elementary school.
You got a small, right?
Yeah. I was like 4XL. So if I lose, quote unquote, I think I'll get 2nd or 3rd place.
Yeah.
I really would like to get 1st place, and I think I have the tools available to me to do so. And everyone keeps telling me I have that, which is very like surreal to have like my idols be like, yeah, you'll probably win. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
It's a good show for you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. You made it.
I made it. It wasn't that bad, and I'm very awake now.
Feeling good? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Which one was your favorite?
I mean, this one woke me up the most. Where's that cinnamon one, though? That was really nice.
Cinnamon one.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah?
Hell yeah.
All right. So, new thing Zone's doing, sending our guests a bottle of their favorite one. So we'll get you hooked up with a bottle of the cinnamon bun. Any final words? Where can people find you if they want to follow you?
So oh God, why can I not talk?
Your brain's been cleared out.
Seriously. I am on TikTok at Jammie J's Vids. And I am on Instagram on Jammie J's Pics. So it's like very easy to find. Instagram is kind of just for other people in the industry, because a lot of creeps in Instagram DMs, whereas TikTok is just open to everyone. And I think I'm the 2nd most followed strong woman on TikTok, which is weird. I think Gabby's number 1. She has like 70.
So, yeah. I can't figure out TikTok. I'm too old.
You're 3 years older. You're still like, you're borderline Gen Z.
Borderline.
Oh my God. We'll make some TikToks while we're on here.
Deal.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll tag her in the caption section so you know where to find her. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Let us know who you want to see on the podcast next, and we'll see you next time.
See you
Thanks
next
for
time.
being here.
Hi, Mom.